There's a man in Los Angeles running a company on track for $1.8 billion in sales, with basically 0 employees. If you're tired of being told you have to build a big team to get rich, keep watching, because the way he did it might be the blueprint that lets you escape your 9-to-5 without ever becoming a boss. And near the end, I'll reveal the one rule he forced on himself, the rule almost no founder is willing to copy, that turned this from a normal startup into a one-man empire. His name is Matthew Gallagher, and his company is called MEDVI, a telehealth startup selling GLP-1 weight loss medications like semaglutide, built from his living room with just $20,000 and a stack of AI tools. In its first full year, 2025, MEDVI did around $401 million in revenue, serving roughly 250,000 customers. And it's now projected to hit about $1.8 billion in annual sales with just Matthew and, later, his brother as the only employees. This isn't a typical raise VC, hire 200 people, burn cash, Silicon Valley story. This is the story of a guy who asked, what if AI and smart systems could replace almost every employee I'd normally hire? And then actually did it. Here's what you're going to walk away with by the end of this video. How a regular, non-famous guy went from failed businesses to a billion-dollar solo operation. The exact leverage stack he used, AI, automation, and partners instead of employees. The 3 to 5 systems you can copy even if you're starting from a tiny apartment and a low bank balance. The mindset shifts he made after burning out running a normal 60-employee company, and that one brutal rule he followed that almost guarantees you never have to manage a big team. Before MEDVI, Matthew wasn't some Ivy League founder with endless funding. He grew up with a pretty unstable childhood and taught himself to code as a teenager, building websites for local businesses and flipping small online projects. At 18, he sold a small web hosting business for around $6,000. Not exactly never work again money, but enough to prove to himself that the internet could pay him. He tried college, University of Cincinnati in Northern Kentucky, but never finished a degree and eventually moved to Los Angeles chasing an acting career before drifting back into tech and entrepreneurship. In 2016, he started a company called WatchGang, a watch subscription box that grew to roughly 60 employees. On paper, that's the dream. Office, staff, real company. But behind the scenes, it was stressful, complex, and not nearly as profitable as it looked. The big lesson he took away: a big team does not automatically equal big freedom or big profit. Now think about where you might be. Maybe you've got student loans, a job you don't love, and every success story you see is some founder raising $50 million and hiring a small army. The whole system is quietly telling you, if you don't have a team, don't bother. Matthew hit the same wall, but instead of doubling down on the traditional path, he flipped the script. In early 2024, something important happens in the background. OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, predicts that AI will enable a true one-person billion-dollar company, something that would have been unimaginable before. Most people scroll past that headline and move on. Matthew doesn't. In September 2024, from his home in LA, he launches MEDVI, a telehealth company focused on GLP-1 weight loss drugs, starting with about $20,000 of his own money. No big office, no engineering team, no marketing department. Instead, he assembles what I'm going to call his leverage engine, a stack of AI tools and outside partners that replace what would usually be dozens or hundreds of people. According to coverage in the New York Times, Forbes, and others, he used AI to write most of the software code for MEDVI's platform, design and write the website and marketing materials, generate images and videos for ads, automate customer support and even parts of phone customer interactions with AI voices, analyze business data and decide what to scale, fix, or kill. The medical side, doctors, prescriptions, pharmacies, shipping, is all handled by external partners and contractors, not in-house employees. So when you hear one-man company, here's what that really means. Almost every traditional department is either a piece of software or an external service. In month 1, MEDVI signs up about 300 customers. Month 2, another 1,000. By the end of 2025, it has served roughly 250,000 people and generated around $401 million in revenue with about a 16% profit margin. By 2026, it's projected to hit around $1.8 billion in sales, with just 2 W-2 humans, Matthew and his brother Elliot. Some analysts have called MEDVI dropshipping in a lab coat, a middleman connecting demand for hot weight loss drugs with a network of outsourced doctors and pharmacies wrapped in a slick AI-built experience. Whether you like that framing or not, the point is clear. He didn't win by hiring faster. He won by wiring together existing pieces and letting AI glue them. So what can you actually do with this if you're not in healthcare and you don't have $20,000 lying around? Lesson 1. Treat every part of the business as a prompt. Matthew didn't just use AI as a toy. He treated coding, landing pages, emails, SOPs, even legal drafts as prompts to be answered by AI tools. For you, that might look like, write me a landing page that sells this fitness offer to busy dads, or draft a 10-email sequence turning YouTube viewers into coaching clients. Lesson 2. Pick a massive, obvious wave. He didn't invent a new drug. He surfed an existing explosion in demand for GLP-1 weight loss meds, Ozempic, Wegovy, and their compounded cousins, during a moment when telehealth regulations created an opening. Ask yourself, where is there already insane demand, confusing access, and bad user experience that you can simplify with software and content? Lesson 3. Replace departments with tools and partners before you replace them with hires. Instead of thinking, I need a customer support team, he thought, what combo of AI chat, scripted flows, and an outsourced call center covers 80% of this? Instead of, I need in-house doctors, he thought, which clinic partners can handle prescriptions while I handle marketing and UX? Lesson 4. Build the distribution machine first. Telehealth is competitive. MEDVI grew by aggressively using AI-generated ads, SEO content, and direct response style marketing to acquire customers fast. For your solo business, that might mean learn one acquisition channel deeply, YouTube, TikTok, email, or paid ads, and use AI to do 80% of the grunt work so you can focus on strategy. Lesson 5. Let constraints design the system. He didn't say, I'll stay solo if it's convenient. He designed MEDVI under the assumption, I'm not building a normal team. That constraint forced him to ask again and again, how do I solve this with code, automation, or a partner instead of a hire? Now let's talk about the part nobody can copy-paste from a prompt, how he thinks. Mindset shift 1. From I need help to the system is the help. Most founders hit friction and think, I need to hire someone for this. Matthew hits friction and thinks, what process, API, or tool makes this problem boring? That's a huge shift from employee first to system first. If you adopt that mindset, you automatically start designing your business around leverage instead of labor. Mindset shift 2. From status company to cash flow machine. His previous venture, Watch Gang, looked like a real company, office, staff, the whole startup aesthetic, but struggled to become truly profitable. MEDVI, on the other hand, is incredibly unromantic, a highly automated middleman for an in-demand medical product with fat margins and microscopic headcount. Ask yourself honestly, are you trying to build something that looks impressive on LinkedIn, or something that quietly throws off serious cash with minimal overhead? Mindset shift 3. From wait for perfect plan to start with the stack you have. He launched MEDVI in about 2 months without waiting for venture funding, a co-founder, or a huge runway. He took the tools available, ChatGPT, Claude, other AI agents, no-code platforms, outsourced clinics, and just started wiring them together. If you're watching this from a tiny apartment with a basic laptop and a credit card, you already have access to most of the leverage he used. The missing piece isn't tech, it's the decision to build around leverage instead of around employees. Mindset shift 4. See risk in not using leverage. Yes, there are real risks in what MEDVI is doing. Regulatory scrutiny, dependence on GLP-1 demand, criticism that it's exploiting a temporary window. But there's also a giant risk in doing nothing, staying in a job you hate while the cost of starting a lean, automated business keeps dropping to near zero. Matthew bet that the upside of being early with this model outweighed the downside of playing it safe. If you want out of the 9-5, you probably need to make a similar bet on a smaller scale, but with the same direction, toward leverage, not away from it. Let's come back to that wild claim from the beginning. A company heading toward $1.8 billion in sales, with basically no traditional employees. Is it literally one person forever? No. Technically, MEDVI has 2 employees, Matthew and his brother Elliot. Everyone else touching the business is either software, a contractor, or an external partner. So what was the secret rule that made this possible? Here it is. He banned himself from using hiring as the default answer. Instead of thinking, this is hard, I need a person, he forced himself to ask, how do I solve this with code, automation, or a partner so I don't need to manage anyone? That one rule pushed him to go all in on AI, external clinics, outsourced pharmacies, and automated marketing systems until every part of MEDVI looked more like a workflow than a department. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember these 5 things. 1. You don't need a big team to make big money, but you do need a big wave and a big problem to solve. 2. Treat every piece of your business, code, content, support, ops, as a prompt that AI and tools can answer before you ever hire. 3. Build your distribution machine first. A boring product with great distribution beats a genius product nobody sees. 4. Optimize for cash flow and freedom, not office photos and headcount. 5. Set your own no hire by default rule for the next 6 to 12 months and force yourself to build systems and partnerships instead. If this broke your idea of what's possible for a one-person business, even just a little, hit subscribe for more deep dives into real one-person and tiny team empires. I break down the actual numbers, tools, and strategies behind these businesses so you can copy what works and avoid what doesn't. And I want to hear from you. Would you rather build a big team someday? Or would you be happier running a lean, highly automated one-person empire like MEDVI? Drop team or solo in the comments, and tell me what kind of business you'd build if you never had to hire more than one person.